Hi everyone, I'm Rasika, your friend for out of school life. I'm back again to make a contribution to the Hiregange Bridge program, which is a program to bridge the gap between knowledge and wisdom and education and employability. In the previous video, we had learned on effective communication, what is effective communication and why it is important to communicate effectively. Having learned about effective communication, we shall now learn on the language in which we shall communicate. So in this video, we'll be learning on communication in English. And why English? Because English is one such language which is accepted and understood largely across the world. So let's get started on learning English. So English is the one skill that is a challenge in non-English speaking countries because in non-English speaking countries, generally one speaks in their mother tongue. So if you're a student, if you're a businessman or an employee or a entrepreneur or a professional, it's important that you communicate in a language which is understood by your ultimate customer or your client, right? In case if you're not able to communicate effectively in a language which is understood by the customer, then there's a gap and the business does not flourish. If your intention is to operate only in small geographical areas, then the local language will be sufficient. But given that today in the world of globalization, the only limitation to your growth is you yourself. In case if you're able to learn a language like English, then the sky is the limit because world is your platform. Let's understand what are some of the advantages of learning English. Leave about English, like knowledge of a new language is the doorway to the rest of the world. In case if you learn any new language, it helps in increasing your memory. It gives you a problem solving perspective. That's why you will see that people who belong from India are better off than the rest of the world because in India there is diversified culture. There are about 20 odd languages in which people interact, and hence they have quick grasping power and quick problem solving ability. And if you're a student and if you learn English, then it will help you clear your examinations, your competitive examinations. It will give you access to the global information and the educational resources that are available across the internet. It will also help you with your employment opportunities because knowing a language will give you an edge over the others. It'll help you increase your confidence because once you learn English in a way that is appreciated and understood by others, it is very easy to impress and your confidence level will increase. Also, you will have avenues of entertainment available before you yourself to explore because you will be able to enjoy English movies, English songs, and English documentaries, and there'll be a lot of avenues available for you for learning. Also, you will understand that being able to speak in English will give you a basic level of respect, irrespective of your educational qualification. Say you're not a person who has qualified your even matriculous examination, but when you speak in English effectively and fluently, then there is a perception which is established in the head of the other person, and by that gives you a basic level of respect. So you must always try to learn English if possible. And given today in the environment of internet, you have a lot of avenues available for you to learn English. The secret of effective communication lies in the strength of your language. So if you understand your language well, only then you will be able to communicate effectively. Now, when you start to learn a new language, in this case, when you start to learn English, some of the common errors that you have to keep in mind, because what happens is in the way in which you have learned your local language, the same way you try to translate in the language of English, which might lead to a lot of confusion in singular, plural. It will also lead to mix up of tenses, mix up of genders, and the language will be which you will be using will be very general, and it will have a very limited vocabulary. So these are some of the common errors which we are prone to when you're learning a new language. So you should keep these errors in mind and see that you don't commit these errors. Now, what are the steps to improve or rather learn English? The first and very first step is listen. You learn it the same way as one learns their mother tongue. You must have seen that an infant who doesn't know how to read and write can still talk. How? Because that infant, he learns by listening whatever he hears. So when an infant can do, why not us? So listen to positive English news at least for 15 minutes in a day, and pay attention to the words or phrases that you do not understand. Watch an English documentary. Today, we are fortunate that we have so many documentaries available with subtitles. So subtitles gives you an advantage of understanding how the documentary flows. Read the subtitles, note down the words that you do not understand, and try to find the meaning. Listen to audio clips very carefully. This will help you understand how a word is pronounced. And after you're doing this, you ensure that you expose yourself to the language very much. Try listening to as many English speakers around you. Try being in group of colleagues which interact only in English. By listening, you will be able to imitate. That's the next step to learn a new language, is listen and then imitate what you listen. What you hear, you repeat and imitate in the style which is used by your teachers, or the style which is there in the documentary. You imitate it, practice it. Once you imitate it, you try to understand what you're imitating. And once you understand what you're imitating, you practice in different contexts. Say, for example, you have listened to a word called delicious. Imitate that word called delicious, and say, for example, the sentence that you copied from the documentary is, "It was a delicious meal." Then you understand, imitate, and then use the word delicious in a regular day-to-day life. Say, for example, you buy a cake from a bakery. Next time you go to the bakery, maybe you can say your cakes were delicious. So that's how you practice and you ensure that you are learning the language. Very easy is to copy sentences and use in your daily context, if not create on your own at the initial stages. So first listen and then imitate and then you read. So before you read, you're listening and imitating. Once you start reading, you get the strength on the subject. Your language goes strong, because when you're listening at the pace of how others are saying. When you're imitating, you obviously tend to imitate at the pace at which you listened. But when you read, you can always read at your own pace. Read with clarity. Give pauses and stop where you do not understand, and try to find the meaning then and there. Say, for example, you're reading a paragraph wherein it said that the hunter went to an incredible, highly dense forest. And here you do not know what is the meaning of incredible. So, what do you do here? You stop, you find the meaning of incredible, and incredible means huge. Okay, incredible means large, right? With an understanding of incredible, now you read the sentence again. That will help you fix the understanding of the sentence. So read simple paragraphs and note down words which you do not understand, and try to get the meaning then and there and reread. It will help you improve, give strength on the subject. You can also read empowering books, which are in simple languages. In India, we would recommend Sudha Murthy's books and Robin Sharma's books, because they are very simple to understand and written in a way that can be understood by any class of people. What you can also do is pick 5 sentences each day from your study book and read, understand the meaning, and keep. You don't have to immediately use it, but read. Reading regularly gives you clarity. And a good book is your best friend and the best exercise to your mind. So, a habit of reading is really helpful in strengthening the language that you would like to learn. The next step is vocabulary bookkeeping. Now, when you're listening, imitating, and reading, I've been mentioning at a regular interval that you make note. So when you're making note of something, some complex word that you do not understand, then you make note of it in a dedicated book. Preferably, maintain the book in an alphabetical order. All the new words that you learn from A can be at one place. All the words that you learn from B can be at one place. And keep writing the words or phrases and their meanings in a notebook, which is easily available to you. Okay, you will be surprised when you look back at your vocabulary book that, oh my God, I've already learned many words and phrases. So not only do you maintain that, you also revise it regularly, and it'll become a very easy referencer, because any day, anytime you have even say 5-10 minutes, you can just glance at the book and you will know, you will keep having words going through your mind. Vocabulary bookkeeping will help you improve the grammar of your language. While you can read basic English, and by reading, you can also speak basic English. However, vocabulary bookkeeping will help you use a higher class of grammar, which is indicative of the strength of your language. Now it's time that you speak as much as you listened, imitated by yourself, and then read. Now it's time that you speak. When you speak, you're doing the practicals. Now the theory is over. Now you're doing the practicals. So speak when you're alone, and many people prefer doing it in front of a mirror to boost your confidence. You can try to make a variety of sentences using adjectives. Say, for example, like the one that we used, delicious. Your cakes are delicious. What was what we used in the previous sentence. So you can also try saying that your cakes are tasty, or your cakes are mouth-watering. So these are some adjectives which give the same meaning, but you can just keep upgrading your sentences by using adjective, and only when you speak, you will practice it. Use dictionaries to use better words. You can Google to use better words and phrases. That's the best source that's available. And whenever you're speaking, don't miss an opportunity to speak to anyone. If you have a friend who knows English, try speaking to them in English. Sit with colleagues who speak in English and try to speak with them. When you speak, you will also realize that there are some mistakes that you're making at a regular interval. Pay attention to the mistakes and iron out the grammatical errors that you're making. Yeah, of course, when you speak and when you're new to a language, there is a larger probability that people will make fun of you and laugh at you. But remember that you're doing yourself a favor by improving yourself. You're on a mission to improve yourself, so do not hesitate, but practice. One day people will definitely appreciate you for how far you've come in the language. So yeah, we listen, we imitate, we read, we maintain a vocabulary book, we speak as much as we can, and then what we also do is we try to teach others. We must already know some people who are struggling with the language. We can do this humble task of teaching others. So when you want to go and teach to someone, what a human, it's a human psychology that you will like to be a error free person in the subject that you're going to teach. You want to foolproof yourself against the mistakes when you go on to teach, so that will make your fundamental go very stronger. And when you try to teach someone, you will also realize that there are some shortcomings. There are some things that maybe you should concentrate on, and wherein there is a scope of improvement. So teaching will help you identify that also. Okay. And if you think that there's no one to whom you can teach, then you teach yourself. You teach yourself. Go isolate yourself. Go in front of a mirror and try teaching yourself. Challenge yourself. There will be there are many games that are available online, like Scrabble, Wordly, Quadly, and there is also a game called Duolingo. You can learn and improve by playing those games, which is fun and learn both. You can challenge yourself by playing those games, challenge yourself by being disciplined with yourself, and give yourself a word and give yourself 2 minutes to think on it, and try to make a essay or try to narrate something relating to that sentence. So that is how you can also challenge yourself and learn, if not by teaching others. After you think that you are in a better shape, maybe decent with the language, you can move to the higher level by challenging yourself in a debate if you're in a school or a college, or you can go, if you're a professional, you have forums, go to the forums, enroll yourself, start speaking, start taking lectures or sessions, start writing books, booklets, articles. See, once you are writing, there's a lot of thought process that goes into when you're writing. You understand what you're writing very thoroughly, and that gives strength to your language also. So write, make short videos and detailed videos. You see those videos, you will realize that there are some places that are where you lag. You try to plug in those errors and try to improve on it. And most importantly, you visualize yourself that after 2 years, you're speaking very confidently and you're speaking very fluently. Visualize that. And when you have your subconscious mind working on something, a goal, it'll happen. Visualize that. And last but not the least, you enjoy the learning process. Don't be very conscious of making mistakes, because mistakes will give you wings to fly if you're concentrating and working on. So that's it with this video. Here in this slide, we have given some recommendations on the online courses and self-help books. There are some free courses that are available. There are some paid courses also that are available. Depending on your requirement, you may feel free to access those. And we shall be learning more on this subject, that's communication, in our upcoming article, which is on persuasive communication. I hope you had some inputs from this video, and please do write to us for your feedback on the email IDs that are given in this slide. Once again, thank you so much and a very happy learning.